Welcome fellow YouTubers to our first ever future engagements, a space in which we will be briefly highlighting games to look out for in the future, ones that we think have the potential to be groundbreaking, iconic or just downright brilliant games. I'm Krysmic, and boy do I have a great way to start this off. Ashes of Creation is a new MMORPG that is currently in production. The flagship game of a Western company called Intrepid Studios that came together for the single purpose of building the MMORPG that we have all been desperate for. One that will revitalize and redefine the genre and keep us encapsulated for the rest of our lives. World domination aside, I'm sure they will settle for as long as possible, but if there's one game I've seen recently that has the capacity to make me want to physically live in it, it's definitely Ashes of Creation. Feast your eyes on this. It is worth mentioning that before we continue, everything you see in this video is footage from a pre-alpha build, which in layman's terms means it's super early footage and that things are subject to change. There will be a playlist on the NGaged Gamers channel with more information on the individual aspects of this game, so if like me you become super fascinated with the idea of Ashes of Creation, please be sure to let us know in the comment section that you've enjoyed the video or what specific questions you would like answering in the future. So let's begin to break down what little information is available in this very brief overview of Ashes of Creation, starting with everyone's favourite topic, the classes. It has been confirmed that there are 8 classes in the game so far. They are the Bard, Mage, Rogue, Archer, Fighter, Tank, Cleric and Summoner. Out of those archetypes you will choose a primary class that you will level from the starting level to the max level. Along the way you will choose a secondary class from the same 8 archetypes. That secondary class will augment your primary class's abilities and skills. In total, the system should allow for up to 64 distinct classes. That will provide a huge variety of customization and skills based on your choices. At present there are only 2 confirmed names for that combination between the primary and secondary classes. So far, the Fighter and the Mage have been combined into a Spell Sword and the Tank and the Cleric into a Paladin. The battle system is a hybrid combination of tab style combat, which means auto-locking onto enemies, and action combat style open gameplay built around mobility and engagement. Dodging in this game is said to be active, which means it will be under your control to some degree. It has also been suggested that there will be many moves that can render you impervious to damage for a very short period of time. So precise timing and reactive abilities should enable you to set yourself apart from the crowd and reward player skill. It has been announced that there will be 8 distinct races available at the release of this game. The general consensus is that there will be 2 human style variants, 2 elvish variants, 1 dwarven, 1 orcish and 2 completely unknown races. Each race will have a different starting stat, so selecting your race will influence your class selection too. However, no class will be locked away from you based on the race that you select for your character. There will be no factions at the game's release created by the developers, but players may band together to form guilds or just groups of people with a common interest, but more on that later. Instead, the game is based on a node system. The node system is probably the most important system in the game, as it dictates almost everything, from the shape of the world to the content that is available. For me, it's at this point where the game really started to stand out and show its true colours. In the background of the game, unknown initially to the players, there will be zones of influence. Each of these zones of influence houses a node. Every action completed by the players inside the zone of influence provides that specific node with experience. Eventually, a node would gain enough experience to increase its level. At level 1, for instance, a previously unknown node will form into a camp, and NPC characters would move in to fill this camp with life, quests, we can assume some kind of shop, and obviously create a point of interest. Every level this node gains will grow the camp into a bigger and better settlement, which in turn will increase the amount of activities available. It could also affect the surrounding landscape by opening new areas, or for instance creating bridges that connected previously inaccessible areas together. There are 6 levels of nodes from 0 to 6. At level 6, what was once a camp has now fully grown into a metropolis, with a specific governance body in place that affects the gameplay dramatically on a global scale. There are 4 styles of government, each carry different requirements or ways in which you can gain office and become a ruling power in that specific node. Those 4 different types of government are named scientific, militaristic, divine, and economic. Each has their own pros and cons, but each has the capacity to change the shape of the game. We will detail and speculate in another video, so be sure to subscribe and keep your ears peeled. As a node grows, so does its area of influence. That growth can be so fast that it actually consumes other areas of influence from smaller nodes, which in turn inhibits that smaller node from growing past a certain level. These areas can be so vast that there can only be 5 metropolis level nodes at any one time, encompassing the whole map. This will naturally create conflicts of interest. Imagine yourself playing this game. Imagine needing a specific material or loot drop, animal, or even access to a specific location, but a nearby metropolis has somehow blocked your access. In order to access the content you wish to, you may be forced to round up a group of people who have similar interests to yours and actually lay siege to the metropolis in order to either de-level or destroy that node and open the content that you desire having access to. We really are only beginning to touch the tip of the iceberg when we talk about the amount of awesome content this game is saturated in. And in order to do that, we've decided to break this video down into 2 parts so we can give it the time that it needs. So please join us for part 2 of this video overview, and in the meantime, if this game has captured some primal desire inside you to be played just like it has for me, please use the referral link in the description below, as that will directly support the channel, but we'll have more information on that in part 2 also. If you have any questions, please like, subscribe and leave it in the comment section below, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And as always guys, stay engaged, peace.